All right. Yeah. So, you are now watching Unks in the Building. UNCS.
Unk is in the building. He's gonna spell it every time, folks. Every time.
You're talking about Unks in the Building. They're not even gonna hear me spelling if you talk over Unks in the Building. Okay? Anyway, resident Unk here. Byron here with Auntie Stacy.
Hello.
Today, we are not talking about Reddit stories. Not talking about Reddit stories. We're gonna talk about Jonathan Majors. Why? So I'm gonna tell you this story. Okay, this is a sequence of events that happened. Well, of course, a few days ago, as of the time of this taping, some audio came out where it was saying he had allegedly. I heard the audio on like Breakfast Club. It wasn't clear, but whatever. They were saying he was agreeing to
Assaulting.
Choking.
Yeah.
Choking this girl. This Walmart ankle bracelet model he was with. Let me chill. She modeling ankle bracelets for her whole life. Just ain't a bit else to write home about. But anyway, praise God for Megan Good, who came into his life. We gonna yeah. But anyway. So here's the sequence of events that happened. So this happened, and I first saw the write up about it on some article, and I was like, what is going on here? My mind immediately went to the women that I know. And I'm like, I know some crazy girls and some hood rats, and I got some hood family. And I even know the other kind. That's the vindictive, I'll watch you burn before I throw any help on you, and then after you pass, then I'm gonna go and cry. But anyway, we know some crazy people. However, I don't know anybody who would tape conversations. Like, how long did you have to tape a conversation? Just every day you just taping to try to catch something. Go through the tape till you find what you need and hold it for what has it been? 2 years now? 3 years?
2022, I think.
Until he's about to have another
it's 2025 now, so.
Yeah, he's about to have another moment, and then you release this to try to destroy him. Now we've seen the, hey, I'm gonna try to have a baby so we can get this child support type behavior. We see that all the time, right? We see the, hey, if you don't want to be with me, you can't see your kid type behavior. This is like, I don't even want you. I just want you to burn.
Yep.
Like this is a little bit like,
this was premeditated
and saying it wasn't a crime of passion. Like in the heat of the moment, we was arguing, the whole phone thing happened. You hurt my hand. I'm gonna get you back for that. You sat there with this for a few years, and you just waited until, like, I'm gonna wait till he's about to do something else, and I'm gonna mess him up. Now I'm telling you, this is what's happening inside of my head, and I'm talking to my wife about it, and I said, I want to support this man in his journey to hope, in hopes that he come back. But I don't want to see this man half naked for 2 hours. I'm sorry. I'm not a homophobe or nothing like that. I have no problems with anybody, right? I just don't want to see that.
Right.
Don't want to see it. And I'm expressing my disinterest to not see this, at the same time my conflict of, hey, I want to support this guy, because if nobody goes and supports black people in Hollywood, the Hollywood films for black people won't be made. Correct. And this is not a race thing. It's the truth. It's been studied. So, for example, the Captain America, you know how they changed the poster for the people over in Asia. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
You got to have a whole helmet on.
Right.
The whole thing is
Sad.
we don't think this is why Black Panther was such a big deal, even though the story was. I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah,
we'll be there for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
We'll be there for 30 minutes. I'm not gonna go there.
that's why I was like, please don't go. To I will say what Black Panther represented and what it meant for Black people.
Eddie Murphy did 30 years ago.
Okay, but where has that been prior to that? And it had stopped.
It still had an asterisk next to it. Let's not derail it because we'll go there. I won't agree.
Wait a minute. We needed. Let's put the story and the quality of the story aside and all the things that you had to say about it.
Underlying messages.
Whatever. Let's put all of that aside. What it represented for Black people at the time.
It was good.
Was necessary.
It was good.
All right then.
It made.
We can agree on that.
It was good. What it represented was good.
Thank you. Okay.
And it was necessary to
at the time. That was the time. Remember the place and time when that happened. We had the whole. I believe it was the whole Black Lives Matters stuff happening. Had it started yet or no? No, I was in Canada.
No.
I went to see it in Canada, so no.
What
Something was happening. Something was happening where we really felt like we needed this, guys. We needed that win.
It must have been a George Floyd thing or something like that. This is
because
prior
Black
to
Lives Matter came after succession of things.
It was like three or four things.
Every couple of weeks was something awful happening
before the levees broke.
But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so it's a known thing that if they won't green light, they being Hollywood, quote unquote, from what the articles say, won't green light certain things if they think it's not going to sell.
Yeah, because it's an odds game, right?
Yeah, they want money.
And they know.
So we get so many remakes and stuff.
Yeah, they need to know that money's coming.
So check this out. So this is as an aside. What's the girl used to play Max on Living Single? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So I seen her on, I don't know what she was on. This is a podcast years ago, and she was saying how her and her husband wanted to do sci-fi films for Black people, and they would basically shut down. Like, Black people don't want to see that. Untrue. And it's like, so we want to see trauma all the time, right? This is what Black people want to see because this is what's put in front. We'll see another slave movie. Even our love stories are traumatic. Love stories traumatic. The relationships be abusive. Because we went to see Queen and Slim. Oh my gosh. And we championed for that. Oh my gosh. And it could have been so prolific. Queen and Slim could have been an instant classic. Epic. That would have went down if it ended right. Yes. It would have went down as that would have been up there with Boys in the Hood for us. Correct. We would have been watching that over and over and over again. That would have been like one of those films. And if you think about it, Boys in the Hood died. Menace to Society died. This movie died. What in the world? Yeah, but Queen and Slim was such an injustice. It was especially tragic. The man, I didn't really like the girl so much. I just liked how she softened up and became more feminine. Yeah. And in her womanhood with him. Yeah. Her character was not likable. Yeah. She was just mean unnecessarily. But he really didn't deserve that. No, he didn't. He was a good guy in a bad time. And I was like, how many times do we need to know and see that? Nope. We live that. We see it. This is why, and we got to get back on topic, but I got to applaud Jordan Peele. Yes. Because Jordan Peele, I don't know if you know this story or not, but they're talking about how when he did Get Out, he did the screening of it. Right. Yeah. The original ending, the police were actually supposed to come, and he was supposed to go to jail. Right. And then his friend name was Rod, and Lil Real's character was supposed to come and visit him in jail, and the solace was basically, well, at least I stopped him. But you're in jail for life for murder. Mm-hmm. And the test screenings, the audience left and was like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. You feel like we went through all of this to finally, and sometimes, folks, we need a happy ending.
Please.
We need a happy end. It doesn't have to be tragic. So I was so happy to hear this is what it was. We changed it. And now Get Out is one of those films. Like I saw it like 2 or 3 times in the theaters.
Right.
Like it was, and I was telling them like, yo, you gotta go see this. You gotta go see
Right.
this. And it's like we will support stuff that's good, but nobody wants to see somebody who especially doesn't deserve to die.
Brutally.
Okay, rewind. Okay, so I'm sorry, we got off task there, but we back on topic. Jonathan Majors. So I'm having this conversation in the car with my wife, telling her like, hey, I'm not really interested, but at the same time I'm torn because I want to support, because that's just where I'm at this time in my life. I'm on, you know what I'm saying, trying to support these people, make things better, whatever.
Because our phones be listening.
Don't be listening.
And his interview came up on my phone.
Breakfast Club interviews this man 2 days later.
And I got the feed like, hey, watch something you'd be interested in.
It was in my, I hadn't watched it, but she saw it too and then sent it to me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to watch the Breakfast Club interview. So we listened to it, and I was like, it was like 10 minutes in. I was like, Stace, why you got me listening to this? You want to see this movie now, don't you? After I said I didn't want to see it. You want to see this movie? Yeah. All right, yeah, I want to see it. I'm like, all right, well, let's go. We can go in here. We go to the movies. We watch the movie. After the interview, you can hear what Charlemagne them said. So I'm gonna pause right here. Okay. I'm gonna pause right here because I'm gonna say this next statement, and then we're going to go into the film. But I want to give you plenty of time to turn the stuff off where you see me say, this is about to be some spoiler stuff. But this is not happening right now. The thing I'm trying to say is we saw the movie. This is not the spoiler part. We saw the movie, and this man, I had a moment where it clicked in my head where I was like, this is the greatest actor of our generation.
Yep.
And it's not close.
Yeah.
It's not close. It's not close. I literally, I was sitting there and I'm Googling. Think about this. I'm Googling, is this story based on a real person?
Because it felt like a real person. The characteristics,
so real.
Right.
Like he killed this character. Mm-hmm. And I say that like, I love the movie Creed, right? Mm-hmm. Creed, the first one was one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. The second one, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. The third one, I was like, I don't love this. I feel like some stuff was missing. We're not going to talk about how the Felicia Rashad house was completely different. I'm like, how is he?
In the hood.
He's in the hood now. If you saw Creed 1, they was in a mansion when he came home.
Okay, Byron, let's go.
I'm sorry. You're right. Anyway, so Creed 3, Jonathan Majors is in there. And I'm like, yo, I'm low-key hating this man.
Right.
And I had to get out. When I got out of the theater, I was like, yo, this dude sucks. Wait a second. I like this guy.
Acting.
I like this guy. This guy killed Harder They Fall.
Ooh, what a movie.
He destroyed Harder They Fall. He destroyed it.
Yep.
Fantastic in that movie. Mm-hmm. He made me really, really dislike him in Creed. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, oh, this man got issues. I think he might be a little bit, he might be a little touched up here.
3 sheets to the wind, buddy.
Yeah, something. And I'm like, every single time he plays a character, I believe he's that guy.
Correct. Like when you look at him and as Kang, I was talking about
Kang.
That. When I remember,
old version when he was before he became Kang on Loki.
On Loki. On Loki, you saw his range because you saw Kang super confident, entitled.
On Ant-Man.
Yes, and then you see him
on Loki.
Remember him on Loki when he was
completely different guy, like this
demure and kind of bumbling.
Yeah,
confident in his knowledge because he knows that he knows science, but socially awkward.
Socially awkward for sure,
and 100% believable.
100%. and never would have saw the other side. It's like, this is the same dude who played Creed.
Right.
It's the same guy who played Harder They Fall. It's the same guy
who played Killian Maddox. Maddox.
So
if this stuff hadn't happened, he would have won an Oscar for this, or at least been up.
He might have caught a nomination or two.
Although it wasn't shot in that bluish
Oppenheimer
sepia tone, blue gray screen type of Oscar film. He was mesmerizing, and it was disturbing.
It really was.
I'm not saying it was a feel-good movie. You come out of there feeling like wow, that was great.
It was not one of them films.
But it was
at all.
It was a peek into a life of this. And he said it. He said how he was beautifully unique, messed up, is what I would say.
Unique is accurate.
He was very unique character, and he had said in the interview that he doesn't think that any black actor, male or female, has done a character like this. Acted. And he said, I'll say I'm wrong if you say, hey, what about such and such? The only person I could see that scared the heck out of me when he was is Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker kills. But I feel like the only reason I say, let me pause just for a second. So let's talk about. No, you go ahead and finish your statement because I'm remember what I'm saying.
I forgot the name of the movie. What was the name of it with Jada Pinkett and they were and the guy and then the brother was super crazy and he's always crazy. Oh my gosh!
Talking about Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
And she was in the movie and they were
with Bo King.
No, they were having sex in the fields.
Yeah, that's what Bo King was a crazy brother.
Yes, the brother.
Yeah.
What's the name of that? Jason's Lyric.
Jason's Lyric. Yeah.
Jason's
I forgot
Lyric.
the main character name.
In Jason's Lyric.
Real name, rather.
Forrest Whitaker's character. But it wasn't a movie about Forrest Whitaker.
Right.
He was a part of a story. But if we did a movie about Forrest Whitaker's character, he could have. Forrest, I think.
He has the range for sure.
Is the closest.
But okay, so
disturbing
that's the point I'm trying to make
character.
when I say greatest of this generation.
Well, correct. Yeah, no, but he was saying, has anyone done a character like this? That's what he said. Unique. He's done a unique. It's the most unique character that we've seen in a movie. Black, because we've seen white done very unique characters like that. But you can go ahead and tell the storyline or.
This is like. It was almost savant like, right? Mm-hmm. The savantness of it was like almost Forrest Gumpish.
Correct.
But not Forrest Gump, because something was very Mickey Mouse about Forrest Gump. If I can say that, like it was
a
very
sweetheart.
Yeah, and this guy was like
he was on the very edge. Like when we saw him, he was probably like.
I think we spoiled him a little bit.
No,
a little bit. Not yet.
No. When we saw him, he was about 2 feet away
from being crazy.
From the edge.
Yeah.
Socially
Don't
awkward.
Push me. Sorry. Yes.
When we met him, he was like this lonely person who's socially awkward, trying to navigate life.
Okay, let's pause right here. This is what I'm putting up.
Spoiler alert.
You need to go. You need to go.
If you're interested in watching the movie, you haven't seen it. And come back when you've seen it.
Come back.
And let's have a discussion, baby.
The reason that a lot of this discussion happened is 2 parts in the movie. One is what Charlemagne said on The Breakfast Club, which is he didn't like he didn't say he didn't like. He said he wished that
they explored it more.
It would have been explored a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Basically, his quote unquote victory at the end. Okay. The second thing was what was depicted in the ending. Okay. So I'm gonna go into detail about that from those 2 angles, and we're gonna move forward. All right. So you were speaking about
How we met him.
Him, yeah.
So the story is basically about Killian Maddox, who is a young gentleman who is interested in bodybuilding, obsessed with bodybuilding. He's already, they start off showing his form, his body. And he's constantly practicing his poses. He's obsessed with this character called Brad Vander.
I remember Vanderbilt or some kind of
Vandercleef or something like that.
Last name. Weirdo guy.
And he comes across as very awkward, shy, socially awkward. You almost think he could be on the spectrum almost. You think
it's just like what I said. It's like Forrest Gump was embraced and this guy was not.
Right. Well, the thing about what was endearing about the Forrest Gump story is that he fell into luck.
Over and over
He's
again.
a white man. He fell into luck.
Everything just kept going his way.
He was in these crazy situations and he just fell into these beautiful stories and he had this wonderful life.
So if you take that and have everything go wrong for Forrest Gump, it would have been a completely different movie.
Well, first of all, the movie was so real. Like just the feel of it. It was like this very realistic looking house I initially
Nothing was
thought
unbelievable.
it was the 90s because of the way he dressed, the stuff that they had in their house, the phone that he still had the cord phone. But it was like, okay, this is where our family kind of stopped living more.
Right.
Because
the tragedy
that happened. They don't tell you what happened, but
yes, they do.
no, like right away when you meet him.
Got you.
You meet him and he's, he's awkward.
Supremely.
But he's very, very, very committed to being a bodybuilder, a bodybuilder that he wants to get his pro card, which means that he would be able to compete. He's obsessed with Mr. Olympia. Money. This character that he's obsessed with, this person he's obsessed with, Brad, whatever the last name is,
Oppenheimer,
and he's been writing letters like a Stan situation, Eminem Stan situation. Spanish. And you can tell he's on the edge. Hey, I've written you many times. I guess you're busy, but can you write me back, please? I'm gonna give you my number because I'm really interested in this thing. Here's a picture of me. I want you to see my progress from then until now.
Right.
But I'm getting kind of upset because you're not answering me. I'm your number one fan. Like, what's happening? He goes to work. So life hasn't worked out for him, but things haven't fallen down on him yet.
Right.
You can tell that he's strange and you don't know why.
Yeah.
Right? And he's taking care of his his grandfather, his pawpaw, who is sick.
Right.
And he's working at a grocery store. You can tell that he's very naive about the world.
You know what? This is why everything made sense, right? Everything made sense because it's almost like you don't know somebody like him, but you understand people like him. It's when it's like tragedy happens and people stop growing after that. We've seen it so many times. But even the house stopped
moving. Like now that I look at it, the house stopped in the 90s.
When he was young, when he was a kid,
dressing like he was in that time frame. And the phone is the same. The bedroom is the same. Everything kind of is the same era of that time where life stopped.
Right.
And he stopped growing.
And mentally is what I'm talking about. He seemed like he's like the insecurity of him, like nobody reaffirmed him to be like, okay, slowly becoming a man and you. Mm-hmm. I can't even say nobody because the grandfather was really there.
Was in his
He was there, but it was something very childlike. And then it was that, and then there was rage because it was frustration with things not going how. It's like.
But he was also roid.
Imagine this, right? You're a kid and you watch Disney movies all the time. In a Disney movie, there's a prince. Prince work hard, see the princess in the castle. fight the dragon, kill the dragon. Now I got this princess happily ever after. And you see that, and that's the only story you know. You latch on because nobody else in your life is telling, hey, bro, this is a cartoon. Chill out. Nah, this is real. Because I'm going to be just like, I don't know none of the princess names. You get what I'm going on. Like,
Belle.
I want to be just like this. And once I slay this dragon, I know my life is going to go this direction. I'm going to get the girl. And it's like, to live in that world and then to have things just not go right.
Right.
And to go slay the dragon and get nothing. There's no treasure. There's no beautiful princess waiting for you. It's like, it felt like he was waiting on something to happen and living in this space.
No, the pro card.
The pro card was his
once I get
holy
that,
grail.
Life is gonna change.
Yeah.
So
but he's still 12 inside his head.
We see him ask a girl out. And surprisingly, he's awkward with her.
Yeah.
Very awkward, but in a sweet way.
Right.
We could reference the Forrest Gump situation.
Yeah.
Whereas you could see where she finds him endearing.
Right.
He likes me, he's awkward, but I think he's cute.
Right.
You know, this can happen. Asks her out on a date. He's very awkward. She doesn't give her time to respond, backs out of it. Days later, she calls him up, finds his number. So this is to tell you how much she did like him.
Yeah, she liked him.
She asked the supervisor, because they don't work on the same days. He comes into the store specifically to shop at the time where she's working so that he can see her.
Right.
Which he ends up telling her, which all of this is cute and endearing. She ends up calling him, saying, I'd love to go on a date. He doesn't even respond. She's like, hello? Because good things happen to him. Good thing that he's like, I'm very excited. This is how I sound when I'm very excited. And even all of that, she still shows up. And she sees him and he dresses up in his suit. It's all very cute.
Right.
Right? And endearing. You're like, we're happy to see something.
But it's like alfalfa cute. Like he's like cute as you get what I'm saying?
I know what
like,
you're trying to say, but you were like, oh no, he's wearing a suit. This is not gonna go well. And I'm thinking, I'm putting myself in the girl's place. I would be okay with it because I already know this man is awkward.
Off. Yeah.
But I don't know how off.
Yeah.
Because he's been working there. Nobody said anything.
Right.
And he comes and my little interactions with him are pretty interesting.
Right.
Because I see how much he likes me. And I guess I'm feeling, he thinks I'm so beautiful or so hot or whatever. I'm making him nervous. And then you see him and he dresses up and you could think, oh my gosh, he dressed up for me.
Right.
So you could make all of this cute and flattered, right? You could be flattered by it. And he's old school.
Right.
Sometimes a girl needs a gentleman.
Yeah.
Right? So they meet at the restaurant and everything goes downhill after they have this conversation where she says, she told her dad.
Yeah, she said, I told my dad
about this date, which lets you know how
she's interested
she was and excited he was.
Yeah.
And this is where the spoiler comes in. He says,
this is all a spoiler. You telling the story, babe. Like,
right. But this is the big spoiler part, is what I'm saying. And he says, well, I did the same thing. And he makes a joke and it's all good.
Right.
This was so brilliantly acted, by the way, this scene. And he goes, well, I'm joking. I didn't tell my dad anything. My dad's dead. And even that could have left it to be okay. And then you see her face kind of change, like, oh man, I'm sorry.
But she thought he was joking about the dad being dead too for a second. It was a moment. She knew
it wasn't a joke, but you could say, oh yeah, I'm just joking, my dad's dead. Like we just saw a guy do we saw a post about that where the guy jokes about it. And she goes, oh man, I'm sorry about that. That's kind of the look on her face. And then he says, well, my mom's dead too. Actually, my mom's dead because my dad killed my mom and then shot himself.
Right.
And her whole demeanor flips.
Just like, this is crazy.
Her hands start to shake.
Yeah.
She's quietly falling apart. Like, oh my God, this guy.
But it actually still was not over at that point.
No, it was not.
He had a chance. Had he been chill after that to redeem himself?
He did. But then he started ordering food.
My God. Okay, so that's a rabbit hole. Do this for me. No.
What? Do what this?
Yeah. All right. So, but that's a rabbit hole, right? So here's the thing. I feel like the end needs to be talked about. And what happened, because I talked about two sides, follow me. Okay. So, specifically, they say never meet your heroes. He met his, it wasn't good. Just leave it at that. It was bad for him to meet his hero. Gets to the point where he's like, yo, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Well, it seemed good. But the problem is, if you do that like that, Byron, the story is showing how he's almost there every time. He almost gets a win every time. That's what's so beautifully tragic about this.
Right. But,
it's not just losing. It's being on the brink of winning.
Right.
And then getting it stripped away from you in a really ugly way.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing that wasn't super ugly was the girl. She tried to save face. After he went off and ordered all the food in the world because he's a bodybuilder.
Right.
Then he went off on his very crazy talk about being a bodybuilder without even taking a breath.
Right.
She leaves.
Right.
So that's how that ends.
I know, but so the point I was trying to make was to get us back to the point while we talking about him to begin with and not just going through the story.
Okay.
So I get what you're saying. Yes, it makes sense. But I was just trying to fast forward us to why this is on Unks in the Building.
Okay.
Right? Because, I mean, yeah, movie review, go see it. Check it out. Support the film. Help this man on his way back to redemption because we need more.
Incredibly acted, first of all. Not just
actors.
to support.
Yeah, it was.
But
also,
we went just to support, but now we know it's an incredibly acted, well acted movie.
He killed the role.
Heartbreaking.
Like he did a fantastic job with portraying his character, right? So, fast forward the ending, and this is why I had a moment where I was like, men need what the grandfather gave to him at the end of the film. Because after everything happened, he had this moment of, hey, he was going to harm this guy, and the guy would not have survived. And he has these flashbacks inside of his mind. And again, folks, we told you, it's a spoiler time. Like you need to don't do this and be mad because we told you it's a spoiler time. I'm gonna put a big spoiler at that point so you'll know if you didn't leave at that moment, this is the choice you made. Anyway, he was about to harm this fella, and he has all these flashbacks of the love that he received from both of his parents and his grandfather. He's flashed, and it stopped him in his tracks like, this is not how I'm going to create my legacy. This is not how I'm going to do it. I'm getting out of here. Okay? Get back at what I'm good at doing, and I'm not going to do this. So he, throws away his weapons, gets back home, starts breaking down. And it was a child breaking down. It was like it wasn't that man. So when men, sometimes if you've seen a man cry, it's the frustrated tear. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm so frustrated with life. I'm just gonna let a tear come down because I'm just mad. I might hit you with the Ricky and punch the air. You might. But this was that I am a young boy. I'm an 8-year, and something has gone horribly wrong. And it's like I need to apologize for how I behaved because I know I really messed up type. It was that type of cry. It was a sobbing that happened. And the grandfather, who you can tell in his past may have been hard, but has always been encouraging, like, hey, I'm proud of you. You know, you're the best at what you do. You keep, every time you get knocked down, you get back up. You keep doing what you got to do. You keep throwing those weights. You keep trying. I'm really proud of, the way that you're living your life, so to speak. And you're always there, kind of deal. So you kind of get little moments where the grandfather's kind of fussing or what's going on in there, that kind of vibe. But right then, it was a moment where they saw each other, and the grandfather immediately knew, oh, something is wrong. Mm-hmm. Something is really wrong. And this is not a time for any type of lesson. This isn't a time for rebuke. This isn't a time for, hey, what's going on? It's not time for questions. It's not time for discipline. It's not time for none of that. He grabs him, he hugs him, and says, I got you. Got you. Put his forehead to his forehead and said, I got you.
Just let him cry.
And just let him cry.
And held him. Held that big man who could have crushed him and killed him.
Yeah.
But he held him like a kid.
Yeah.
As best he could.
Yeah. And I said this, and I'm like, mom can do this. Mom does this in many aspects. For a lot of us, it's different when dad does it. It's different. Mm-hmm. For a man. I can't speak to how, women, I would imagine it's as powerful, but it's something about it, like a father doing that to a man and being like, yo, because we always get told, man up, boys don't cry, don't do this, don't do that. Like, pull it together. We got to be strong for the family. All of that. All of that happens. And, granted, there are times you can't be crying all the time and just falling apart. Like, somebody got to keep the ship rowing. Like, you got to keep going sometimes. You got to push through. However, when you have those moments, you need what he got. And now it's like, yo, we don't see that ever. Do you recall a moment like that in the movie? So I'm thinking like, okay, Menace to Society, they kind of had the moment when he asked him, do you care if you die? He was trying to talk to him, but it was still a lesson moment. Like, it wasn't like,
what about,
I got you.
God, what's the name of the movie? When Ricky died.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. And Cuba Gooding. Is that the one with Cuba Gooding?
Yeah.
And he was crying.
His dad grabbed him?
Daddy got him.
Huh. It's been so long since I've seen that film.
The only reason why he was okay, because the daddy had him.
Yeah. I guess you kind of got to.
It's not something you see often.
It's not often at all.
The thing about it, if we really want to get into the conversation, masculinity is not really portrayed in movies properly. In the traditional way.
No.
To begin with. And let's not get into black masculinity and what has been happening.
My gosh.
It almost feels like a mission to destroy
black masculinity.
Yeah, black male's masculinity.
Yeah.
They'll show female masculinity all day.
Oh, yeah. Woman King was excellent, but they were very masculine in it.
I love that movie.
That's why I said it was excellent.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
They weren't very masculine. I felt like they were...
They were warriors. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't get no more masculine than a warrior. There was, I guess, when they was inside the walls of the camp, it was kind of, they was girly in there. Yeah. You're right. But
they had to do what they had to do, like most women do. Like, before I met you, I had to be in my masculine energy because I had to take care of myself.
Yeah, I get it.
And you, as a woman, when you're single, or sometimes worse yet, when you're in a relationship and the man's not being a man, you got to be a man for both of you.
You've seen that before.
So
Unfortunately.
I had to learn how to be more feminine with you to get back into my role that I was longing for, but also was so out of practice of, because I didn't have enough of that imagery and portrayal in my life
Right.
to know what the correct role was.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the whole Bible, woman submit, was like, submit to what? And who and why? Excuse me? No.
Right.
Because I couldn't trust what I was quote unquote submitting to. So watching him try to figure out who he is as a man in this world and dealing with all of the things, not just, you know, that he's unique or perhaps on the spectrum or whatever you want to say, that he was also trying to figure out his masculinity.
Right.
He's just in the world kind of bumbling about, trying to figure it out. And when we find out, if we're really going spoilers, we're going spoilers, right?
We can get the alert. Go ahead.
Well, we did already said that the mom had killed himself. I know that they showed that he was in therapy, this kind of, but it was clearly government therapy where this woman is saying, hey.
She was trying.
Yeah, but.
She couldn't connect with him.
Yes, because she's an old white woman.
Right.
And she's like, her basic thing was, talk to me about something.
Right.
I'm going to ask you. But it was more like a lecturing. Have you done da 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 da?
Have you tried this?
What about the girl that you said you met? Like, what's happening there? And there wasn't enough love in there. I don't know what other word to use because I just don't know what other word to use. But what happened to the little boy when the dad killed the mom? Who took care of him? Okay, yes, but you could tell that he wasn't taken care of.
Ready. No.
He wasn't taken care of. He was taken care of physically. Physically, he was taken care of, but he's still here.
Something happened off camera for him to be in therapy to begin with.
Well,
like
he has roid
angry.
rage.
Yeah.
He was enraged, and he told the people, "I'm going to cut your head off and drink your blood out of your skull."
Yeah.
So he knew how to access drugs. He knew how to take them.
Right.
He knew exactly what to do to body build, because that is not an easy task.
No. Not at all.
And he had the discipline to make it happen.
Yeah.
So he had some serious faculties about himself where he had a goal, he's goal-oriented, he was focused, you know, so hyperfixated on it and was able to execute, right? But my thing was that this poor kid was never allowed to grieve the thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
It was never even mentioned. Like in her conversations with him, it didn't feel like she was dealing with a man with a past. It was like, you're angry, and you're angry for what?
Right.
She wasn't abrasive or anything.
No.
But it wasn't like, you've read his book.
Right.
You've seen what was happening to him. The way I would speak as a therapist, not that I am, the way I would speak to this gentleman would be a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Like I would approach the situation differently, because you know that this is and it happened in front of him.
Yeah. I guess so. I can't remember that part.
Can't remember that part. But
I mean, he was close by. You would have heard it. It was such a
tragic thing to see this man-child navigate the world and try to figure it out.
Yep.
And he was so lonely. Mm-hmm. Even though he had this grandfather, but his grandfather didn't take his hand and say, this is how you do it.
Right.
It was just like, hey, I'm proud of you. You don't cry about how the cards that you were dealt with.
He needed a lot of help himself, so he can't really help somebody. If you like, how you gonna? That's like me giving therapy to my therapist, and then saying, "Oh, well, help me out at the same time." It's like, I'm like, what are you doing? How am I help you and you help me at the same time? You can't.
Right.
So, full circle, Charlemagne says he didn't like the ending.
He didn't say that.
No, take it back. He didn't say that. He
said,
I wish you had
explored
how he took control of his life a little bit more.
The redemption part.
Yeah. So at the end, he He gets rid of his drugs. He gets rid of, the post of his quote unquote idol. He replaces with himself. So he takes a picture of himself. He puts himself up there
as the biggest picture
picture of his wall. Like, I'm motivating myself. I'm going to reach my goal. This is not about having an idol, because that guy was everywhere in his room, and he was like losing
watching tapes about him over and over again.
Yeah, all night long, every day, watching tapes, reading magazines, just everything. It was a complete obsession. And he finally was able to let it go and take back his power. And the ending left us there. It was, hey, I got rid of my drugs. Back, my grandfather got me. I'm back exercising. I'm a little more confident. I feel like I'm taking the reins back of my own life, and not constantly. And when I say spiraling out of control, like he was spiraling.
In so many ways.
And in most ways, he was spiraling out of control. And
he acted those so well.
Man.
When he got into the car and drove twice, listen, can we talk about that part where he gets beat up?
Go ahead.
So he's trying to handle things for his papa. And it seems like the dad got a paint job from this, mom and pop kind of store. Mm-hmm. Grandfather's been trying to deal with it. He says the paint is too thin. They need come and do another quote. The people are rude about it. Killian trying to deal with it and says, listen, I need you to come over here and do another coat of paint on this house because you didn't do a good job.
Right.
And the man is like, listen, we're going to come out there, we're going to charge you. And he's trying to be like, listen, trying to go back and forth with him, and then losing it little by little on the phone. Going to the point where he's trying to do his mantra, say it over and over again. And then you see him after he snaps. And then the man is like, F you, or whatever the man says, and hangs up. And the rage that he goes into following this, that alone was Oscar worthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he gets into the car and he drives maniacally.
Yeah.
To this place.
It was crazy how he was driving.
And he came out drenched in sweat, angry.
Yeah.
And nobody's there.
Yeah.
And he loses it and he breaks apart the store.
Yeah.
Like literally destroys it with his hands, bleeding.
It's crazy.
And then goes home the next day as if nothing happened. The same day goes home.
No. Yeah, an accident.
Goes in an accident. Finds out that he's not well.
Right.
And then not well fit, like as in sickness, not well in his head.
Right.
But and then the retaliation for this is days later. He's hyper fixated on going to enter into this competition so that it would get him on to get his pro card.
Right.
He has to do this competition. He's been focused on it to get the pro card. As he's about to head out, the three men come out and they beat him to a pulp with a pipe.
You messed up my uncle's shop?
Yeah.
Beat him down.
Beat him, held him down, beat him, kicked him, stomped on him had to use a lead pipe several times. He's completely in a shambles. What does Killian do?
You gotta make it show.
He got up with his broken arm, his bloody, busted up face, and jumps into the car and drives to
his competition. I gotta make it.
Well, that was letting you know that's how he felt all the time.
Yeah.
This being beat up is something, this is physical now.
Right.
It's in the real physical where what y'all can see. And I'm gonna go through it because that's what he was taught. Get up. Doesn't matter if you got beat down.
You get back up.
You get up and you act like nothing's happening. And you get up there and you show a brave face and you compete with the best of them.
Yeah.
That is what a lot of men do.
Yep.
That's what I thought the representation was. Broken and falling apart, and you're not allowed.
You don't have time. Stop. You got to keep going. And
he collapsed on stage.
Yeah.
He went through the whole thing. Yeah. I'm here. They're calling his name out. He's here. He's bloody. He didn't even wipe the blood off. He's spraying himself with the spray. People are looking like him. He's a madman.
Everybody looking like crazy.
because he's bloody and beat up. And he gets on stage and he does all the poses with a broken arm, guys. And he's falling apart, trying to smile with blood in his teeth. And I was just like, this is such a representation of what black people have to do, period. But what black men specifically have to do.
This is why I said it was such a powerful moment. Because when he finally broke down and it was somebody there.
The same guy who told him, though. Who taught him. Because in the beginning, he told him, I'm so proud of you because no matter you get beat down, no matter what happens to you, you don't complain about it. I don't ever see you complain about all the stuff, the negative stuff that's happened to you. I'm obviously paraphrasing. But you always get back up, right? What do you do? I always get back up. So that's what's been drilled into him.
So the moment he was broken, and this is why I said it was, sometimes you hear, what's wrong with you, boy? Get back up again. I told you before, you always get back up. What's the lesson I taught you?
Right.
And it's like, no, he didn't need to hear that right then. He needed what he got.
Correct.
So it was great to see, look, I'm falling apart. I'm falling down. And the person who has coached me my whole life caught me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And everybody needs that one person.
Yeah.
At least one in your life. If you've got more than one, count yourself lucky.
Completely.
But blessed. But he had that. Thank God he had that, because if he didn't have that, and it also speaks to, it was very literal, like on the nose in terms of all the gun violence that's in this country.
Yeah.
Like if they stop to take a moment to think.
I got people in my life that still love me.
In my corner. I've had love.
You might not have, because his parents were gone, but the moment that he had a moment to be like, I choose to ruminate on the bad stuff, and now I'm having this moment.
The thing was, he wasn't ever ruminating on the bad stuff.
No, I'm talking about in life.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about him. But just you choose to ruminate on the bad stuff. You take a moment and just really sit there and be like, you know what? Because this is when after he looked at the list of how to become a member,
how to make people remember you.
Yeah. So this is after
he used to type into the
Google search.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is afterwards, and it's just like, I'm remembering these people.
Yeah.
And it was powerful. Like they had almost a Spike Lee moment in the movie when he did what he did inside of his head before he just left, and the crowd just looked at him. Yeah. It was powerful because it was like, this is message.
In his mind, he killed the person. He shot the person.
Yeah. And it was like a message moment. Like, yo, even this is not going to it's not going to give me the result that I want.
Well, he looked into the crowd and it didn't matter.
They were stoic.
And I think it was a good lesson for him to realize that stop looking outside of yourself. Looking at Brad, looking at whatever else in the world.
For other people's approval.
This is about you and what you want out of life and how you can make it for your own self. Yeah. Like, do this for you.
Yeah, and this is why I said just the ending that he said he wished more time was spent a particular way, and we all walked out of it. It's like you kind of want to see. The ending is good. The ending is only disappointing from the standpoint of if you go into it wanting a particular outcome. Like,
you want to see it win.
I want to see this individual actually win the contest. I want to see this individual get the girl. I want to see this individual, rise to the top and actually get his magazine dream and appear on the magazine. When the win itself was, I don't need other people's approval anymore.
Freedom.
It was 100% mental freedom. Like, I am free of everything that has been holding me bondage for all of this time, and nothing happened. It was just like a light bulb went off.
Well, I think when he also found the judge that told him
Yeah.
that his deltoids
Was too small.
Were too
he was
small.
holding
And
that. So this is the thing he was ruminating on.
Yes, he did ruminate
that
on
drive him insane for years.
So he worked on his deltoid to the point of being sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we haven't talked about the steroid use and the drug use.
Yeah.
But I think it also represents something that we haven't got into yet.
Right.
Like it's literally drug use. But
Right.
I think performance enhancing things that we think that we need to have in order to become, for whatever
what
aspiration that you have,
society-
it has to be this. And this is the route that it has to be at any cost.
Yep.
The doctor told him that he is sick.
He had,
You're killing
tumors?
yourself.
Yeah, tumors
He
he
had
had.
not benign tumors on his liver because of his steroid use. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't answer that he used steroids, first of all. Second of all, he would not get himself cut because he's like, I can't have a cut.
Can't
I'm
have
a
scars.
bodybuilder. I can't have a scar. And which is crazy to me because I was like, I kept thinking that this story was in the 90s because how the heck not can a bodybuilder have a scar? Life be lifing.
You seen a bodybuilder scar?
No, that's what I'm
wants a
saying.
perfect body.
They should. It should be okay to have that because it's not my fault I have a scar.
Yeah. You ain't
Second
win no
of all-
competition.
Second of all, the lengths at which he goes through to get to this dream, it damaged him so much. I would have liked to have seen him, because we saw him go back to bodybuilding and everything,
Right.
but he never went back to the doctor. I guess we could infer
Because he got rid of his drugs.
he got rid of the drugs and stuff. Like he
Like,
still
I'm not-
has those
I'm
tumors
gonna
that
do
has
it
to
health-
happen because the doctor was like, what I'm about to do is prep you for surgeries. That needed to happen today.
Right then.
Right? And he's like, no, I don't want to. He snuck out of the
Hospital.
hospital. But there's something there that we haven't explored, that I feel like there's a message there. But
So I can speak to there are some times where we use, it's called keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like you're using other people out there as this standard that you try to live up to.
right.
It's their rules, it's their standards,
Their game.
and you try to come into it and bring who you are and make yourself into this mold that you ain't fit for. Like,
Right.
I use it in my analogy with my people the other day, and I'm like, you can't be a frog in a rock climbing contest, just like you can't be a goat in a swimming contest. Y'all need to switch. Like, what are you doing? You got to figure out where you're supposed to be in life, but you got to make it work for you. You can't try to beat somebody else at their game or become that just because you want it. You wanting something means nothing. That might not be what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And I think that, him willing to make the sacrifice at that level is like something, it was unhealthy. And it's still unhealthy because he still ain't fixed that. But the power that he got back is nobody can control me to the level I was allowing myself to be controlled through my infatuation anymore. And I'm going to do this the right way. I'm not going to cheat.
Yeah. And I love that he saw the blank faces of the crowd and realized that the crowd didn't matter.
I'm going to say this. Somebody told me, I heard someone say rather, sometimes we allow people who are extras in our movie to have speaking roles.
That deltoid judge.
Yeah.
The judge that told him about the deltoid messed him up
completely-
and put him on a trajectory.
And this is supposed to be present day, and he's like, 2015, October. So the guy's like, you remember me? He's like, no. Moral of the story is, Don't let anybody's words, no human on this earth currently present on this earth, speak to you in a way that you allow to hold so much weight until it destroys you. Because
and defines you. Yeah.
You know, okay, somebody speaking life into you, but to allow somebody to destroy you with their words, you gotta spend time learning who you are. Who God says you are.
That's who you are.
Is who you are. When you allow somebody outside to be like, nah, bro, this ain't. Maybe that ain't the way you're supposed to be going. Maybe leave it alone. But this person might be an idiot. And in some cases,
or they might not want the best for you.
That is also true.
As we can see in all the Reddit stories that we have been reading consistently, a lot of the times the people in people's social circles often are not on their team.
Making some bad choices.
You
keep the peace.
Really, you really have to pray and really talk to God to know who's really on your team. And sometimes you have to go through stuff. You know, sometimes you wonder why, like you pray and it still happens. But, you know, sometimes you go through stuff so you can know what to look for later on.
Right.
I think it's going on long, but I think I would not have valued you as much as I did and do if I had met you in a life where I hadn't been mistreated.
Right.
So many times.
Right.
Because when
you got to figure out what doesn't work.
When things are good and something good enters, you're like, that's the norm.
Right.
That it's whatever. Like that's what they do.
Yeah.
And so you don't put the weight and the value on it.
Right.
As you should. Well, that's what I did. Not to say as you should. As what I did was, I wouldn't have known to know that I was in the presence of greatness if I hadn't been stomped on. And obviously healed from it. Because you can't also be looking to you to be my savior. But looking at you and be like, okay, this is this is a man of worth here.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have known what you were.
Right.
Because, you know, when you've told me stories of girls that would be like, oh, you're great. You're marriage material, but I'm not ready yet.
Come back in 5 years.
Because they want to while out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh, you don't go to the club? What you do? I'm like, well, we go to the pro sports. Y'all roller skate. Y'all bowl. Like, you can't.
Movies.
I gotta go to the club or I ain't doing nothing like it. So I do these other things.
Well, they would ask you, if we're not having sex, how are we a couple?
Yeah, we talked about that. It's sex and couple. Those two things don't correlate. It's the commitment that matters. But that's another conversation. Anyway, moral of the story, full circle, all that good stuff. The phrase I say about 3 times now.
Fantastic movie.
Fantastic movie. Magazine Dreams is the movie. We didn't even say the name of the movie, did we?
Woo, we did.
Yeah, Magazine Dreams. Name of the movie. So I'll just probably make that part of the title so they'll know. Because otherwise, like, this is like long too time to say what movie it is. Somebody watched this years later, like, what is going on? What movie they talking about? No, but
and Jonathan Majors, we think you were amazing.
Fantastic actor. Fantastic. And again, I say this generation is like Forrest Whitaker got range. And when I say range, I mean like you can go from movie to movie to movie playing a different character. And I believe every single last one of them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like Jamie Foxx, I always see Jamie Foxx except on Ray. Oh my God.
Then you found out he had range from Ray.
Well, that's the thing though.
We never knew he had range.
You kill Ray, but then this other movies he didn't kill.
Right.
There was never another time I didn't see take that back. They cloned Tyrone, he's pretty good.
He was very good. But he was kind of more like himself, being silly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I can't look at him and be like, yo, every time he plays a different character, he's talented. Like singing, dancing.
Yeah. I don't know the dancing, but he's very, very talented.
In Living Color. Everybody who came out of that was crazy. That's the whole story. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is for this particular episode, I don't think there's anybody currently, because Michael B. Jordan is fantastic at what he does, but
There's no way he could have done this. Absolutely not.
no, I couldn't see it.
I'll only see him though.
I can't see it. I
Something
couldn't see him
about
doing
Jonathan.
It. He can lose himself in the character
Gets
for
lost,
a moment,
but not in a way that's scary. Because there's some actors who do it, and you're like,
they're crazy.
I don't want to know you in real life.
Right, you need therapy after this
Yes.
to walk you back.
Yes,
I don't think
yes.
that's his case. He's just really good at what he does. Anyway, we're not fanning out on him no more. Fantastic job, sir.
Well,
Fantastic.
I think we're also fanning out because of Charlemagne
The
said
redemption
everybody
arc.
deserves redemption. And we saw him prior to the big thing happening, the negativity that happened to him. You were talking about him and saying he's on the rise. He's about to be the next big thing. And
which I thought was going to be Michael B. Jordan, but he just doesn't act enough to me. Sinners look crazy though, but that's another thing. I probably ain't going to see that though.
why?
You just got to be careful about the stuff you take in.
Certain things you take in. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree
and
with
that starts when you get into that whole demonic stuff and the eating people's
Chanting
faces,
and
I'm just kind of like, guys, this is just a regular good movie
Well,
with
it's
a
not
positive
regular.
ending. It was a drama. It was kind of heavy.
It was very heavy.
But
You
it
know what
had
I
a
was
positive
thankful
ending.
for? What was sad, but I was also thankful for, there was not a lot of people in there. It was a Sunday. Granted, it was a Sunday that we watched it. The movie. Yeah. It was all middle-aged women.
A guy was with his girl up there.
Right.
And then it was me.
And it was a handful of people, and there was, in true Black people fashion,
we was talking.
the most commentary ever.
yeah.
There's one lady who sat behind us.
Yeah.
She was the best.
Yeah.
I loved her. She's like, what he doing?
Right. Yeah.
Who is that?
Like,
And
thank
stuff
God
like
they
that.
didn't. You just thank God they didn't
Don't
show
do
it.
that. Don't no.
Don't do it. Reconsider.
So
There was some
we
moments in
thoroughly
there.
enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
But it is not one of those feel good, lighthearted movies. You may
Not
not,
at all.
but it's one of those that sticks with you in a sense that you have to think about it. And how many movies are lacking that now?
You know
You
what?
don't leave the movie and think about themes and how it relates to life and what are they trying to say here. And it's just, if you just watch it as him acting, amazing. But if you look into the things that they're trying to speak to without being too on the nose, because just about the gun violence alone,
Yeah.
where the guy doesn't do it,
Yeah.
and the man doesn't even know,
And I thought sure he was going to
literally dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
That could be for somebody who's on the brink, seeing themselves in that, and be like, okay, I can make another choice.
I can make a different choice. And that's what I'm saying, taking back your power. That's why the ending was still solid. It was still solid.
Yes,
You
so
wanted
to Charlemagne, that's why he said, okay, Charlemagne, if you feel like that, let's sit and watch the last 3 minutes of that movie together again, and then maybe he'll explain it to him, and then he'll see. But I think, in retrospect, because I did agree with Charlemagne at first. When I watched it, I'm like, I needed to see more of him winning. Like when I watched The Color Purple.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, the one, The Color Purple. It wasn't enough winning for me.
Yeah.
It was not. I saw she got her shop.
But you know what? And I promise this ain't gonna go on too much longer. But you know what? That's what made it so real.
It did.
Because we would have immediately turned into a Disney film if he just like, yeah, now I'm on stage and I'm the champion. What
I believe can happen now is that he may not ever get the pro card thing, or he can't, whatever. But I believe he's gonna take care of himself more, and that's what really matters.
It was real life, and it's like because
we all don't win.
This is real. This is how real life works. Sometimes,
right.
Sometimes you end up just being. I wanted to be the owner of a Fortune 5 company, big whatever. Sometimes you end up being a midline manager,
right?
And that's your life. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes everybody's not going to be
top of the top, best of the best, number one.
A 1%er. Like,
well, what I like that Jonathan, I know it's going on long. Last point I'm going to make.
I'm gonna keep talking.
This is the first time I say the last one I'm going to make. What I really liked what Jonathan, this has nothing to do with the movie, but also has to do with the movie. What I love what Jonathan Majors said in the interview on The Breakfast Club, when he said, I have a team of people.
Come on.
To help me. When I'm an actor, I have a team of people that help me become the best at my craft.
Yeah.
When I want to bodybuild and get my body in shape, I have a team of people that help me get into that. Most of us don't have a team of people. I saw a girl do a meme where she was like, when my friends don't want me to wonder why I don't call back. She's like, well, I'm severely understaffed. I'm just me. So I can't always I'm not always going to answer back calls and get I don't know when I'll be able to get to that. But that's the truth. It's just us. And a lot of times we're trying to do so much and be so many things. It's like when you pray at night, you say, help us to be better parents to our kid. Help us to be good daughters to our good husbands. And it's a lot of roles that we have to take on. And we don't have a team of people to help us with these roles. No. And a lot of times we spend so much time putting so much effort into the wrong role. Most of the time it's at work for somebody else's company.
Right.
Not that there's not importance to that, but we don't have enough time. And so what his point was, I need a team of people to help me out to become the best me possible.
Right.
So now he has pastor, the Change Church pastor and all of that, therapists and so forth. And it's like ending up with a life that is, and I don't want to use the word mediocre, but people would call it that. You have to make the best of what life is. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the best scenario for him, considering where his life was headed. Because I just kept waiting for the downfall, for this just epic loss, because it just kept showing us loss after loss after loss. So I was happy to see that and you always say it's hard to get using your brain to get yourself out of the problem that your brain got you in the first place. And he actually had to do that. You just made
me forget how I said it. That's
not how you say it, but I'm allowed to paraphrase because I'm not you.
The problem with trying to use your brain, I can't even remember how I said, Lord Jesus.
But I said it good enough for you to understand what I was referring to. And that's what he did at the end of this movie. He actually used his own experiences in life to realize that it ain't that bad.
Right.
And I don't need to make a negative impact on the world. I could actually focus on the things that I enjoy and still come out with a good life.
I need to thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you for sticking with me and my wife for the duration of this conversation. Find you a good circle of people who can speak into your life in a positive way, uplifting. Find a way to get around people who edify and not destroy, and be a part of the solution. Edify other people, because we don't hear good job enough. We don't hear, keep up your good work.
And you know what, Myron? A lot of times we try and do this often. Like if we see someone doing a good job, we try to say, hey, listen, I want to tell you you're doing a good job.
Right.
That always feels kind of awkward.
It does.
But I push myself to do it because you never know if that's going to make somebody's day or not.
Give them their flowers, man.
Or make them fall apart. They might be on the verge of falling apart, and then that one word of encouragement.
Yeah, and that's the second thing that I'm going to speak on is be careful how you speak to somebody. Be careful how you treat people, because you don't know how close they are to really losing it.
Yeah. And
you could be the person that helps put them on a trajectory to really changing their life for the positive. It's a chain reaction. I made mention of this on a podcast that won't air because the audio went crazy. But we'll have that conversation again in the future. But the point I'm trying to make is you don't know how your small positive gestures can help set somebody on a good trajectory to change their life for the better, or how your negative word at that moment, it may not be much, can really just crack them and they're done. Mm-hmm. And that's it. It was like they was ready to make themselves not breathe again, and you said those words, and it's like, okay. And if God forbid you done something like that in the past, give yourself some grace. You know better, you do better. Thing is, now, moving forward, let's start trying to uplift one another, edify, share wisdom, provide somebody with some positive affirmations in a genuine way, on a fairly consistent basis, because we all need it. And if we can start doing it and reciprocating that to one another, I promise it's going to be good. Shout out and thank you again to Jonathan, because it sparked a conversation. I don't know if that's necessarily what you and the writer were trying to do, but it definitely did spark the conversation, and that is necessary that we do. Thank you all. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and go see the movie for yourself. And look at the Instagram. I'm trying to start posting on the Instagram. Send stuff that you want us to talk about, because sometimes the Reddit stories are fantastic. Other times the Reddit stories need to be our real stories, because those are fantastic. At any rate, I thank you so much for everything that you do, liking, commenting, subscribing.
After you watch the movie, or if you've watched the movie,
Come back.
comment.
Come back. No spoilers in the comments, though. Goodbye.
Bye.